Another common cognitive distortion is blaming. So again, with these cognitive distortions, we all do them. It's just human nature and how we function in the world. Blaming, we sort of know, but I'm just going to explain it a little bit. So it's when we shift responsibility for negative events and feelings onto others. We avoid taking accountability for our role in the situation. We deflect responsibility. We externalize problems. And understandably, this can lead to unhealthy patterns in relationships and the way that you think. So what we're going to talk about is ways that this manifests in your daily life, how it's harmful, and ways to break free from it. Common patterns with blaming in relationships, a way that something that we may say to ourselves, it's their fault, our conversation went badly, if only they'd listened, we wouldn't have argued. If something happens at work, no, I missed the deadline because my team wasn't prepared. Another example, and this is more in daily life, I wouldn't be late if traffic weren't so bad. So again, as you can see in all of these, sure, there may be an ounce of truth in them around shifting responsibility, but the reality is, how can we take responsibility? That's where we gain control, and that's where we start to change our lives. And the reason that we do blaming is it's emotional self-protection, right? It's an automatic defense mechanism. When we project fault onto someone or something else, we avoid uncomfortable emotions like shame and guilt or feelings of inadequacy or self-esteem. So a reason why blaming is harmful, just to expand on that a little bit more, is it prevents personal growth and responsibility. For example, if you blame a partner for an argument, you miss an opportunity to reflect on how your communication style may have contributed in this conflict. And without that self-reflection, the same patterns are just going to continue into the future. We can't necessarily change others, but we can change how we respond to others. In the same vein, it's going to strain relationships. That's all relationships. That's with a partner, that's coworkers, friends, family, neighbors, everybody. And it can be this sort of you versus me mentality. And if someone in a friendship always feels blamed for the problems, most likely they're going to pull away and withdraw and feel like they can't be honest with you without facing criticism. And lastly, it creates negative emotions. It perpetuates feeling of disappointment and anger, frustration. You feel helpless. It reinforces this sense of victimhood, that you have no control over situations. And all of those feelings just lead to chronic stress, emotional exhaustion. So let's talk about how to recognize blaming. Anytime you notice that it's blah, blah, blah happened because of blank, if you're sort of defensive about it, it's because of my boss that I'm so stressed. Any of those, if so-and-so didn't do whatever, I wouldn't feel this way. So sometimes the blaming is subtle and it's described as frustration or even self-righteousness. If you're constantly feeling like things are unfair, those are some blaming tendencies. And then there's emotional signals. If you're continually feeling resentment and frustration, those are ways to notice that too. So how to stop the blaming? You want to take responsibility for your role. Again, so if there's an argument, you go back and you self-reflect. What did I say? How did I respond? Did I interrupt? Did I raise my voice? When those blaming thoughts come up, you want to challenge those thoughts. Is that thought fair? Am I overlooking my role in this? And for an example, you want to do some cognitive restructuring. So instead of my coworker made me miss the deadline, it might be, what could I have done to communicate my needs or expectations better? You also want to practice some self-compassion, because I think once you start to shift the blame from others onto taking responsibility, a lot of feelings of guilt and shame might come up. And so you want to treat yourself with that self-compassion and more think of it as, what can I learn from this? How can I do something different? And you want to seek constructive solutions. What can I do to resolve the issue now? How can I move forward? How can I improve my communication? In conclusion, this habit of blaming others is going to inhibit you from personal growth, having healthy relationships, and emotional well-being. So the more you can catch yourself doing it, the quicker you can take responsibility, the quicker a lot of areas of your life will improve as you feel you have more control of your life. And having healthy communication, open communication, you'll have better relationships with others, better relationship with yourself. If you're noticing that this is challenging to manage, that's when it's helpful to talk to a professional, a third party who's not biased, can gently and compassionately help you notice when these things are happening, help you restructure those thoughts. This is where a therapist is key in doing that because they do it in a non-blaming way and a compassionate and validating way and help you take control of your life. And so this is where someone at Therapy Now SF can be really helpful. Our therapists are experts in helping people manage their relationships better and have a mindset that's more empowering as opposed to feeling like you're a victim.